Welcome back to Your Wine Girl. So today is Tell It to Melanie Tuesday. Now I've got a little bit of a different approach for you guys. So like I said, Tell It to Melanie Tuesday involves anything. It can be anything mom related, alcohol related, basically anything you want me to talk about. So lately I've been doing your video comments because I haven't really gotten anything that anybody's really pointed out that they want me to talk about. Now, while I love doing your video comments, and I will continue to do them when I do not have any topic that you want me to discuss, I actually got a topic to talk about today on Tell It to Melanie Tuesday. He knows who he is. Still gonna totally tell you who it is. So it's one of my coworkers actually was saying that, you should talk about sulfites. And I thought that was a great topic because there is a lot of information out there about wines and sulfites, and just, everything gets misconstrued a little bit. People say one thing and then you read something else that says another. So I am here to talk about sulfites today. Just giving you just kind of like a little bit of information, not to blow your mind, but kind of just set the record straight. And I hope it doesn't blow your mind either. So sulfites, yes, they do exist in wine. There is not a wine out there that does not exist without sulfites. Like it just doesn't happen because of how the process of wine is made. Sulfites are naturally made from wine. Once wine is actually, so you got your water, your sugar, and your yeast. So whenever the yeast eats the sugar, it's automatically going to turn into alcohol, and then you've got your carbonation, and then you're going to have a little bit of sulfites that are going to kind of be a byproduct of that. Now, sulfites aren't a bad thing. Sulfites are naturally a derived substance, derived chemical, I guess you could say, that are good for the wine. It gives it structure, it gives it a little bit of taste, and it also acts as a natural preservative. Probably a lot of y'all did not know that, but it does actually act as a natural preservative. So it's really good for the wine that it has the sulfites in it, because without it, your wine would not stay. It wouldn't stay fresh, basically. So here's what the difference is that people are thinking that, oh my gosh, it gives me a headache. Oh man, there's too many additives. Yes, you can add more sulfites to your wine, maybe to preserve it a little bit longer or to give it a certain taste. So some of the winemakers will actually add more sulfite content to the wine so that they can achieve a certain taste. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Or you could say it's not necessarily a good thing. It kind of depends on how you're going with it. But that is one thing that you will hear. Another thing is that people think that it leads to headaches because of the sulfites. And they say that it's red wine and the sulfites that leads to headaches. Okay, so that is completely untrue. Just because if you are saying that red wine gives you more headaches because of the higher sulfite content, white wine actually has more sulfite content than red wine. The reason behind that is because red wine, or the red black grapes, the skin on it, because it is darker, actually already has a little bit more tannin to it, a little bit more structure to it, to where it doesn't actually need more sulfites added to it. The skin grape, so black skin grapes actually also act as a preservative or help shape the wine. So there's no need for extra, usually, sulfite content in red wine, just because the grape skin already acts as a preservative, and it gives it the structure usually that is needed for red wine that most winemakers are looking for. White wine, on the other hand, because there is no usually any kind of tannin or pigment to your white wine, it doesn't have that same complexity. So usually white wine has more sulfite to it because it needs a little bit more preservative to preserve the wine. You don't have that skin color that's going to help it. So that's that. So next time you hear that, just be like, okay, well maybe it's something else that is in the wine. Instead of sulfites, it might be the tannin, it might be something else that is in the red wine that is actually giving somebody a headache, but it's not actually sulfites. So another thing about the sulfite phenomenon, the sulfite whole illusion thing, is that all wines have to say that they have sulfites in them, because there is very few population in the world that is extremely allergic, has an extreme allergic reaction to sulfites. So based on the parts per million of sulfites, wine has to say that they have sulfites added so that these people who are extremely allergic to it are aware of that. Like I said, it's very few people, and we're talking like anaphylactic shock, we're talking about like my throat's closing up, we're not talking about, oh, a little bitty headache, we're talking about people that are just severely allergic. So that is why on wines you will see that sulfites added. Now in some organic wine you will see that they have, say, no added sulfites, because some organic wines out there do not actually add extra sulfites to it. They want to keep it as the wine as it naturally is. So that's the difference, that most people are saying, oh my gosh, it says sulfites added, oh, it's going to give me a headache, oh, this is what's wrong with it, oh, like all these things running through their head, when it's really, all right, it's just saying that there's already sulfites in it, and they may have added some more sulfites. And that's the difference between seeing a wine that says sulfites added and having an organic wine that says no added sulfites. Either way, there's already sulfites in the wine. So I hope that kind of clears that up for you guys. I'm sorry if that was a lot of material, but basically I wanted to just let you know that sulfites are not a bad thing. It is something that it's a natural chemical that can be found in your wine. Yes, it can be used to increase a certain taste in a wine, and increase the preservedness, or increase wine to preserve it a little bit more. But see, I've also tried organic wine that has no added sulfites. It tastes good, you know, because it tastes very clean. It tastes like, all right, I can taste the difference between sometimes a wine that, you know, a regular wine and one that doesn't have added sulfites. And it's a big difference. There's a different taste to it. I like it. But you also got to remember that some people don't drink wine all in one day. They may drink 2 or 3 days or 4 days sometimes. Like I do that now. And if you've got a wine, organic wine that has no added sulfites, well, it won't last past 1 day. It really won't. I've done it. And so you're seeing, like, that's one of the negative facts about sulfites, is that, you know, it won't help preserve your wine as long. So it's just some interesting information. So I really hope that this helped you guys, that, you know, sulfites aren't all bad. If I didn't answer your question about sulfites, or if there's something else that you wanted me to talk about that, you know, maybe it has to deal with sulfites, please let me know. I'm trying to make it to where it's not, you know, going whoosh, basically. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope this answers my coworkers' questions about it, and that you learned a little bit more today on Tell It to Melanie Tuesday. Alright guys, so just stay tuned. Next week, if you guys don't have something for me to talk about, or want to tell me, then I will continue with the video comments. So please keep them coming. I really appreciate your support, guys. I really appreciate all your questions. I love your comments. So keep it coming, guys. Alright, cheers. Bye.